Mark 14. 2 days before the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the chief priests and scribes were plotting how to arrest Jesus by stealth and kill him. But they said, "Not during the feast, or there may be an uproar among the people." While Jesus was in Bethany at the house of Simon the leper, reclining at the table, a woman came with an alabaster jar of pure, expensive nard. She broke the jar and poured the perfume over his head. Some of those present were indignant, saying to one another, "Why this waste of perfume? It could have been sold for more than 300 denarii, and the money given to the poor." And they rebuked her harshly. But Jesus said, "Leave her alone. Why are you troubling her? She has done a beautiful thing for me. The poor you will always have with you, and you can help them whenever you want. But you will not always have me. She has done what she could. She has anointed my body beforehand for burial. Truly I tell you, wherever the gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her." Then Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went to the chief priests to betray Jesus to them. They were delighted to hear this, and promised to give him money. So he began looking for an opportunity to hand him over. On the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, when it was customary to sacrifice the Passover lamb, his disciples asked him, "Where do you want us to go and prepare for you to eat the Passover?" He sent 2 of his disciples, saying, "Go into the city, and a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him. Wherever he enters, say to the owner of the house, 'The teacher asks, where is my guest room where I may eat the Passover with my disciples?' He will show you a large upper room, furnished and ready. Make preparations for us there." The disciples left, went into the city, and found everything as Jesus had told them. So they prepared the Passover. When evening came, Jesus arrived with the 12. While they were reclining and eating, Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, one of you will betray me, one who is eating with me." They were deeply distressed, and began to say to him one after another, "Surely not I?" He replied, "It is one of the 12, one who dips bread into the bowl with me. The Son of Man will go just as it is written about him. But woe to that man who betrays the Son of Man. It would be better for him if he had never been born." While they were eating, Jesus took bread, and after blessing it, he broke it, gave it to them, and said, "Take it, this is my body." Then he took a cup, and after giving thanks, he gave it to them, and they all drank from it. He said to them, "This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many. Truly I tell you, I will not drink again from the fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new in the kingdom of God." After singing a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. Jesus said to them, "You will all fall away, for it is written, 'I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered.' But after I have risen, I will go ahead of you into Galilee." Peter declared, "Even if all fall away, I will not." Jesus replied, "Truly I tell you today, yes, tonight, before the rooster crows twice, you will deny me 3 times. But Peter insisted emphatically, "Even if I have to die with you, I will never deny you." And all the others said the same. They went to a place called Gethsemane, and Jesus said to his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." He took Peter, James, and John along with him, and he began to be deeply distressed and troubled. He said to them, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch." Going a little farther, he fell to the ground and prayed that, if possible, the hour might pass from him. "Abba, Father," he said, "everything is possible for you. Take this cup from me. Yet not what I will, but what you will." Then he returned and found them sleeping. "Simon," he said to Peter, "are you asleep? Couldn't you keep watch for 1 hour? Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." Once more he went away and prayed the same thing. When he came back, He again found them sleeping, because their eyes were heavy. They did not know what to say to him. Returning the third time, he said to them, "Are you still sleeping and resting? Enough! The hour has come. Look, the Son of Man is delivered into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us go. Look, my betrayer is approaching." While he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived. With him was a crowd armed with swords and clubs, sent from the chief priests, scribes, and elders. Now the betrayer had arranged a signal with them. "The one I kiss is the man. Arrest him and lead him away securely." Going directly to Jesus, Judas said, "Rabbi," and kissed him. The men seized Jesus and arrested him. Then one of those standing nearby drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. Jesus asked them, "Am I leading a rebellion, that you have come out with swords and clubs to capture me? Every day I was with you in the temple courts, teaching, and you did not arrest me. But the Scriptures must be fulfilled." Then everyone deserted him and fled. A young man, wearing nothing but a linen cloth, was following Jesus. When they seized him, he fled naked, leaving his garment behind. They led Jesus to the high priest, and all the chief priests, elders, and scribes assembled. Peter followed him at a distance, right into the courtyard of the high priest. There he sat with the guards, warming himself by the fire. The chief priests and the whole Sanhedrin were looking for evidence against Jesus so they could put him to death, but they found none. Many gave false testimony against him, but their statements did not agree. Some stood up and gave this false testimony against him. "We heard him say, 'I will destroy this temple made with hands, and in 3 days build another, not made with hands.' Yet even their testimony did not agree." Then the high priest stood up before them and asked Jesus, "Are you not going to answer? What is this testimony these men are bringing against you?" But Jesus remained silent and gave no answer. Again the high priest asked him, "Are you the Christ, the Son of the Blessed One?" Jesus said, "I am. And you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of power and coming with the clouds of heaven." The high priest tore his clothes and said, "Why do we need any more witnesses? You have heard the blasphemy. What do you think?" And they all condemned him as worthy of death. Then some began to spit on him. They blindfolded him, struck him with their fists, and said, "Prophesy." And the guards took him and beat him. While Peter was below in the courtyard, one of the high priest's servant girls came by. When she saw Peter warming himself, she looked closely at him and said, "You also were with Jesus the Nazarene." But he denied it, saying, "I don't know or understand what you're talking about." Then he went out into the entryway, and the rooster crowed. When the servant girl saw him there, she said again to those standing around, "This man is one of them." Again he denied it. After a little while, those standing nearby said to Peter, "Surely you are one of them, for you are a Galilean." He began to call down curses and swore to them, "I do not know this man you are talking about." Immediately the rooster crowed a second time. Then Peter remembered the word Jesus had spoken to him, "Before the rooster crows twice, you will deny me 3 times." And he broke down and wept.